Okay, this one's going to be interesting. We are in chapter 29. So up to now, Jacob and Esau have had a falling out, and Jacob has fled. Now he's going to Laban. He was sent to live with Laban, and so that Esau wouldn't kill him. And he's been in the wilderness, and he saw what they call Jacob's ladder, and he had a vision from the Lord. Okay, so now we're in verse 29. So Jacob went on his journey and came to the land of the people of the east, and he looked and saw a well in a field, and behold, there were 3 flocks of sheep lying by it. For out of that well they watered the flocks. A large stone was on the well's mouth. Now all the flocks would be gathered there, and they would roll the stone from the well's mouth, water the sheep, and put the stone back in its place on the well's mouth. And Jacob said to them, My brethren, where are you from? And they said, We're from Haran. And he said to them, Do you know Laban, the son of Nahor? And they said, We know him. So he said to them, Is he well? And they said, He is well. Look, his daughter Rachel is coming with the sheep. And he said, Look, it is still high day. It is not time for the cattle to be gathered together. Water the sheep and go and feed them. But they said, We cannot until all the flocks gather together. And they rolled a stone from the well's mouth. Then we water the sheep. Now while he was still speaking with them, Rachel came with her father's sheep, for she was a shepherdess. And it came to pass, when Jacob saw Rachel, the daughter of Laban, his mother's brother, and the sheep of Laban, his mother's brother, that Jacob went near and rolled the stone from the well's mouth and watered the flock of Laban, his mother's brother. And then Jacob kissed Rachel and lifted up his voice and wept. And Jacob told Rachel that he was her father's relative, and that he was Rebekah's son. So she ran and told her father. And it came to pass, when Laban heard the report about Jacob, his sister's son, that he ran to meet him, embraced him, and kissed him, and brought him to the house. So that he told Laban all these things. And Laban said to him, Surely you are my bone and my flesh. And he stayed with him for a month. Then Laban said to Jacob, Because you are my relative, should you therefore serve me for nothing? Tell me, what should your wages be? Now Laban had 2 daughters, and the name of the elder was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. Leah's eyes were delicate, but Rachel was a beautiful form and appearance. So Leah, she was probably pretty good looking, but Rachel was knocked down, drop dead, gorgeous. Now Jacob loved Rachel, so he said, I will serve you 7 years for Rachel, your younger daughter. That's the one he met at the well, too. So they had a little bit of a connection already. And Laban said, It is better that I give her to you than I should give her to another man. Stay with me. So Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, and they seemed only a few days to him because he had love for her. And then Jacob said to Laban, Give me my wife, for my days are fulfilled, that I may go into her. And Laban gathered together all the men of the place and made a feast. Now it came to pass in the evening that he took Leah his daughter and brought her to Jacob, and he went to her, and Laban gave his maid Zilpah to his daughter Leah as a maid. So it came to pass in the morning that, behold, it was Leah. And he said to Laban, What have you done to me? Was it not Rachel that I served you? Why then have you deceived me? So he worked for 7 years for Rachel, but when it came time to him to take Rachel as a bride, they had this big party. They were probably drinking and all this kind of stuff, and she was wearing a veil, and maybe he was a little drunk. We don't know. But anyway, he went in and he spent the night with Leah, and then he realized in the morning what he had did, and it was Leah and not Rachel, and he's upset about it. And Laban said, It must not be done so in our country to give the younger before the firstborn. Fulfill her week, and we will give you this one also for the service which you will serve with me until another 7 years. So basically he's saying, spend your honeymoon with her, give her her honeymoon, and then give me another 7 years of service, and I'll give you Rachel. And then Jacob did so and fulfilled her week, and then he gave his daughter to Rachel as wife also, and Laban gave his maid Bilhah to his daughter Rachel as a maid. And then Jacob also went into Rachel, and he also loved Rachel more than Leah, and he served with Laban still another 7 years. Okay, so that's what happened. He spent a week with Leah, then a week later he got Rachel. So he has 2 wives now, but he still owes 7 years for Rachel. When the Lord saw that Leah was unloved, he opened her womb, but Rachel was barren. So Leah conceived and bore a son, and she called his name Reuben, for she said, the Lord will surely look on my affliction. Now therefore my husband will love me. And then she conceived again and bore a son, and said, because the Lord has heard that I am unloved, he has therefore given me this son also. And she called his name Simeon. And she conceived again and bore a son, and said, now this time my husband will become attached to me, because I have borne him 3 sons. Therefore his name shall be called Levi. And then she conceived again and bore a son, and said, now I will praise the Lord. Therefore she called his name Judah. And then she stopped bearing. So Judah was her last child.